Welcome to Recycled Idaho, where two recycling industry veterans, Brett Eckhart and Nick Snyder, explore Idaho businesses and organizations that are putting in the work to keep Idaho environmentally and economically viable at the same time. Take a listen to how these entrepreneurs, business owners, and operators are making things happen in the great state of Idaho.
In this episode of Recycled Idaho, I get a chance to sit down with Ken Reglin from Concrete Construction Supply. Ken has more than 40 years of experience in the rebar industry. Take a listen. Welcome everybody, we're here with another episode of Recycled Idaho. I'm really excited to sit down and do this one because this is not an industry we've touched on yet. I'm sitting here with Ken Reglin from Concrete Construction Supply. How you doing, Ken?
Good.
So just to kind of start us out, man, just give us your quick background, how you got into this industry. And what do you guys call your industry that you're in?
The reinforcing steel industry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's. I started in this industry back in Illinois with a company that's pretty familiar to this area too, is Gate City Steel.
Okay.
There was a company that eventually that Pacific bought out in the late 80s, early 90s. I can't remember exactly when, but anyway, yeah, I started in the rebar business back in Illinois in 1974.
Okay.
So it's been a long journey.
So you've been in the industry for a long time.
Been in the it just doesn't change.
That's why when I went down to your plant, they're like, I know who you need to talk to.
Yeah.
They're like, you need to talk to Ken. So.
I've been around. Came out to Idaho in 1981 with Far West Steel.
Okay.
And things have just progressed over the years.
So what were you doing with Far West?
I come out as their rebar manager.
Okay.
Eventually became the branch manager. Then moved on from there and started a company in 1990 called APCO.
Okay.
Which was the predecessor to Harris being here.
So you started that company?
I didn't start. Milo Elston was the owner.
Okay.
And I was just sort of his right hand, left hand man.
You kind of helped run it.
Yeah, we had a good relationship.
Okay.
And I like to tell people, I didn't have any interest, but I was well taken care of.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And then that turned into Harris?
Then Harris bought APCO in 2006.
Okay.
And then Nucor bought bought all the Harris branches, which at that time I think there was 34 rebar branches.
Are they nationwide, Harris?
International. They're
international.
Canadian.
Okay. Oh wow.
They started in Canada.
Okay.
And Harris is based out of Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
And then came to the States. I'm not sure when they came to the States. I think their first operation was either in Boston area, and then they migrated to Seattle, and then they expanded from there over the last, I don't know how many years, but they've been around in Canada since the early 50s, if I
So
history.
Have you been in Idaho since the 80s then?
81, yeah.
Since 81?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're with Harris, and then what brought you over to concrete construction?
Well, Harris, it's long. I lasted with Harris about 8 years, and things didn't roll as what they'd like to see, or
Gotcha.
And so I opted out and ended up over in Oregon for a year and a half.
Okay.
Before I came back over here with CCS.
Okay. Yeah, I've been dealing with a lot of the CCS guys for a long time now.
Yeah.
We handle the scrap. So it's just kind of cool to see the whole process full circle. So one part of our businesses is United Hauling. And we kind of got into this before we hit record.
Yeah.
But our hauling trucks have been hauling you guys, and you in particular, rebar for how long?
Well, when we started APCO in 1990, one of our major suppliers was Cascade Steel Rolling Mills out of McMinnville.
Yep.
And United Hauling was our primary source of material coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've had a long relationship with United Hauling since probably 93, 94.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you say, then you guys hauled scrap out of our yard.
Yeah, and we haul it out at the end of life.
You bring it in, take it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you're hauling scrap back to Schnitzer or all goes to Nucor, but I know at one time you guys took scrap to Schnitzer's, I think.
Yeah, up at up there to McMinnville.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still have a
You still do?
We
Okay.
still have a really good relationship with them. So
Yeah.
so that's just kind of cool how it's full circle, how we haul it back. Like your cut ends
Yeah.
are what we get. At least that's what I assume, and that's what's
Yeah.
going to be kind of cool is when Victor has time, I'm going to tour the yard. We'll film that so we can show everyone how you build your bundles.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those so walk us kind of through like what you guys do over there at CCS.
Well, as far as taking the initial, I guess if you want to go, we get the drawings or the projects from the general contractors,
Okay.
and then we got to go through a process of bidding the job.
Mm-hmm.
Then when we get the job, we got to detail it, draw it up to get the drawings and laid out for the rebar for the fabrication. Once it's approved by the engineers, then we bar list it and send it to the shop for fabrication. The fabrication is done straight lengths, of course, and then we bend it to the job site specifications. We cut and bend rebar 5 days a week for everything that's going on building wise, and you never see it because it gets covered up with concrete.
Yeah.
It's sort of like it's a scrap item, and it gets buried in concrete, so nobody ever sees it.
Yeah, and I've said it over and over again on this show. Like that's what I love about my job. I get to see all these different industries and how it's all connected. It's just kind of awesome how everything is connected. So, do you guys mainly do commercial, I assume?
Well, we do residential. I mean, concrete construction supply started out basically with the commercial or the residential industry.
So you started on the residential side.
Yeah, and then and CCS has been around for 30 plus years.
Okay.
And has grown to this business, what we're at today, and done real well over the 30 plus years. I'm 7-8 years ago. CCS jumped into the commercial market and reinforcing steel when Far West left the valley.
Okay.
And my years, I'm thinking that was right around 2010, 2012, I think.
That's when Far West is the rebar division at least left.
Left the valley.
Where was that located? The Far West.
The Far West was on Broadway.
The rebar division.
Division, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where their other plant is still?
Yeah, where the other yeah.
Okay.
That the original building there was a rebar, and I was there and implemented that structure there in '86.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, '86.
Okay.
That was put up, and because the rebar business is starting to grow, and at that time, we were the only rebar fabricator in the valley in the late '80s, and then there was another one that came in, lasted a couple of years, and then actually they started up in Far West, absorbed them too. But then when APCO started, we started in, like I say, 1990, and so it was just Far West and APCO supplying rebar. And then when Harris came into the valley, it was still Harris and Far West, but Far West decided they built a brand new shop over in Vancouver, and huge.
Okay. Oh, gotcha.
And they decided they'd move everything out, thinking they could still keep the business and run everything out of there, but that doesn't. You got to be local for rebar. You don't have to, but it helps to be local, especially in a valley like this.
Oh, the growth here is just
the growth
crazy.
And to take care of your customers, you got to. People, don't think of rebar being a they think more of it being a weekly, monthly takes that much time, but you got to be able to produce some stuff overnight and get it out.
Oh, I bet you probably got to like special orders
And stuff,
or like something. Someone forgets to put the order in, but they need it because they got someone to pour concrete.
just like this morning, I had to take care of Hawaii High School and get some corner bars out to them.
And you probably had to like just shuffle things around, right?
You just shuffle. You just work through it.
Because you're building. Are your relationships with the builders then? Is that where your relationships
My relationships are with the concrete contractors and the general contractors.
Okay.
That's who's buying our product.
Okay, and you probably have a lot of like repeat.
Everything's
business?
basically repeat.
So okay.
Yeah, everything's. I mean, there's only the two fabricators, Harris and CCS in the valley, and so all our customers, we got the same customers.
Yeah.
And so we're just competing for that one project, whatever it is.
So we've been lucky here for a little while. It's been the building sector's been just off the hook, man. It's just insane. Like everywhere you look, they're building a new neighborhood. Or I drive down a road, they're building a huge building. You know, you got like the Amazon project, just huge factories going in.
Yeah, and it's just going to keep going, growing.
Yeah.
The industry, since I came back in 2015 to the rebar market, and it was just starting to explode when I left in 14, and they come back 18 months later and see what's happened the last 5 years. It's just crazy.
Tell me to turn. There you go.
It's good for us.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, no, it's good for us too.
And for
the growth's good. One big misconception with the recyclers, the scrapyards, is like people think like, oh, on a downturn when people are like out there rummaging and picking through stuff that we do better. We want a good economy. We like good economies.
Yeah, right now you're in the scrap market right now it's more volume than you got to have volume.
Yeah.
It isn't like it was 15 years ago when scrap prices were rising, and it wasn't on volume, it was on pricing.
Yeah.
And now it's just the reverse in your market with scrap. And ours is sort of the same thing. Prices have leveled off. And I didn't check before I came to see where the scrap market is, but I know it's down, and it's sort of leveled off too at the bottom of the market.
Yeah, we've had the projections for this year were really good for the scrap, like the ferrous side, and it hasn't been as good.
No.
A lot of that has to do with what's going on in the world, but there's just so many variables that affect it. But it's nice to see, especially in our valley, like everyone's still out there hustling, everyone's still out there working, and I love, like we do your guys' bins at least once a week.
Yeah, now, yeah.
And you guys are just busy, and I know this is kind of a busy time of year for you. At least I think it is.
It is. We haven't really, we started the year off with a bang, and it's still going. We've hit some little valleys, but nothing to get excited about that business is dropping or anything. It's still coming in.
Do you see much panic in your industry from maybe some of the guys that are newer to it? So you've been around since 70, so you've seen a lot of ups and downs.
Ups and downs, yeah. Yeah, you get, the panic comes from the owners.
Okay.
Don't make it if it's the guy's building a building or the ownership of a company. They panic when they see that downturn, or you don't see that order. It's coming. It'll be back. And it will be back.
It works in cycles.
It works in cycles.
It never stays.
This is probably the longest cycle that I've seen.
Well, we've been good. I mean, when was the last, like 08? Was it like 08? We saw that huge housing crash.
08, 10 to 10.
Yeah.
It was low.
So how was like business for you guys like through that? Because that was one of the worst, the worst I've ever seen.
Yes, it was. It was the worst. I mean, I can go back to fall of '81 was not good for this area, and then we had '91, '92
Okay.
was a little slow, but that 2008 to 2010 was a disaster.
That was a rough one.
That was
a
the
rough
rough
one for a lot of people.
A lot of people.
A lot of industries.
The downturn, industries, business was slow. There was very few a lot of little projects, but no major projects.
Mm-hmm.
And
but you're able to find enough business to stay in business.
yeah.
So
Yeah, you just got to search.
yeah. And is that kind of what you're out doing? Are you out searching?
Right now with the COVID, no, I haven't been outside
But
since
in
March.
a normal
time,
environment,
I'll be out more out than in.
Forming new relationships,
Well,
checking on new
just
projects.
checking on new projects.
On new projects with current relationships.
My thing is, I want to keep the older customers happy,
Yeah.
because they're the ones that have made my business good.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to make sure they're happy, and in turn, the repeat business is good.
Yeah,
and that's what you look for.
Absolutely.
It's got to be the same.
Same for us. We're we're customer driven.
Yeah.
Customer service driven. Like that's always been what we stand on. You talk to any of our customers, like we're all about trying to do what's right and taking care of people for 30 years, not for 1 year.
No.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, we got a project downtown now at Third Myrtle with the only out-of-state contractor, to my mind, that's in the valley, and that's Opus out of Minnesota.
Okay.
And the general contractor's doing the concrete, McIlvain, sort of led us into that one.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only out-of-state, non-local customer that I have worked with in years.
Yeah. So you're still open to that, but I mean, obviously, your bread and butter is kind of your local. Your local GCs, contractors.
Yeah, you got, and that's your bread and butter. Like you say, that's your bread and butter is your local people.
One thing I wondered before you came, I was kind of trying to think of some questions to ask you. One thing I was wondering about, like that '08 to 2010 crash. Were you guys able to see that coming before it happened? Can you see it, or did it just kind of like hit?
It was just there.
Okay.
It was just there.
Because our markets, and I didn't get into the recycling industry till 2010, so I came in right in the kind of end of it.
You're at the bottom.
The bottom end of it, and right at that time, like so many of the prices were like so like inflated. And then they kind of crashed again, back in like 12.
Yeah, I'm trying to see 6 and 7 prices were good.
Yeah.
Too good, to be honest.
Oh yeah. Like you mean like the price was up here?
Yeah, prices.
Oh, yeah.
Prices are up here.
Oh
yeah. And then all of a sudden, you talk about the bottom. It was not a gradual slide. It was a drop.
Yeah, and I've seen the charts. Like I said, I wasn't around for it, but I've seen the charts. And I've seen it, and I've heard stories about it. Yeah. That drop was quick, but then the recovery on it was quick too.
It was quick too.
Like too quick,
Well, it came up, and I even from 10 started swinging back up, and then 15, and even now we started. If I go back to just 15. Through 2020 now, it's up. Now we're starting to level off again.
Okay. Yeah. Feels like we're leveling off.
Yeah, we're leveling off right now.
Yeah, it feels that way.
But the Boise Valley is, and you talk to different people, this Boise Valley is going to be strong. It's going to stay.
I feel that way too.
Maybe not strong is probably too strong a word to use. It's going to stay constant.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get some bumps.
Yeah.
But it ain't going to be no swells.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see another. I mean, at least soon. I don't think we'll see another
No,
08
no.
to 10,
There's-
especially in our valley.
There's too many projects that are on the table that we've quoted and budgeted for it to fall right now. The thing that I think a lot of owners are waiting for is to see what happens with this virus, COVID,
Yeah.
and the pandemic, where this is how long it's gonna last, because things have slow, to me, it's sort of slowed down, and I'm not seeing the job starts like we.
I think
have.
everyone, I think this whole year has been, people have just been waiting for that to get, settled and figured out,
Yeah.
which could still be some time. Time will tell on that. But I think once that happens, I truly do think things are gonna just kind of come back, and I don't think it's gonna. I think kind of come back to where it should be, some of the pricing and some of the economy, and that's what at least I hope for. That might be me being too optimistic.
It's gonna the pricing, it's gonna be interesting to see what steel prices do over the next year.
Oh yeah.
Right now, I think they're because of the pandemic, they're staying level.
Mm-hmm.
But I think once this is over with, we'll see what happens with that steel prices and the economy. Oil prices, steel price. I always looked at oil and steel as being one's up, one's down, and they sort of
They kind of follow
each other.
Oh yeah.
And so we'll see what happens in this market in 6 months. See where we're at.
Yeah. I always hope the best.
Well, I do too. I don't see a bottom falling out, and I don't see a big rise either.
Neither do I. I would be happy if we just saw little upticks here and there, but stayed consistent.
Yeah.
I'd be happy. I think most of the customers that we deal with would be happy because things are good. The price is there. We're at least getting paid something for some of your scrap. I've seen a lot worse.
Yeah.
What I could say.
Well, the scrap industry has always intrigued me because made a comment earlier about the scrap market when it's high, and people clamoring, finding scrap, bringing it in for that 6-pack of beer or carton of cigarettes or whatever. And that's when you got to watch your job sites. People walking off.
Do you guys have any problem with that?
No, we don't. But several years ago we did.
Back when it was
when
200 plus a ton.
Yeah. Anyway, so you don't have that right now because it takes a lot of scrap to buy that.
get some money.
Product, yeah.
Well, that's good. That's the last.
Yeah.
I mean that aspect of it's good.
I don't know how that relates back to the copper industry right now. I don't think
Copper's doing good. Copper's been on a little tear the last month.
Because I know that was a problem with job sites too.
And we have a good system in all our yards. We have cameras. We have a good system on license plates to kind of deter that because that's the last thing we want. We want to buy from the businesses, the guys doing the work, not the guys doing the shady stuff.
When the scrap market was high, the owner of APCO went around to you guys in Pacific and says, if anybody brings any rebar in, we want to know about it.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And we'll do that. If we see some scrap come, we're like, hey, I've seen that scrap. I know where that came from. I would call you. I was like, hey.
That's what I figured.
So you've been in the industry since the 70s. Have you seen any real big innovations, big changes in the industry?
The only thing, no, not really. There's been some new equipment. One of the big, I guess, the major equipment deal is there's a outfit out of Italy, straight and cut machine that has sort of revolutionized the rebar market in some areas with doing the fabrication, bent bars and stuff. Streamlined it with, when you got a lot of high rises and you need a lot of stirrup ties and stuff like that bent, these new auto machines will cut and bend them, just spit them out.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you please repeat it?
I apologize.
That's okay.
Tried to shut it off. Anyway, that's been one. The benders that I started out with back in 74, the only thing that's changed on them is the heads. I mean, is the computer. They went from just a digital head to a computer head on the machine. The shears have been reduced inside. You guys, United Hauling, hauled off the shear that APCO started out with, and in 2005, I think 2004, it was about a 6,000 pound shear.
Okay.
And you guys hauled it out of the yard because we went. And it was huge.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's fit inside this room. Now, the new shears will sit on this table.
Yeah, we'll show that when we do the walk around. With Victor, because I think that would be cool to kind of show that end of it.
Yeah, I wish we had that shear because it was huge.
Yeah, I'd love to see that old one.
Yeah, I got a picture of it.
Oh yeah, if you could send the picture, we'll put it on here to show everybody.
Yeah.
Do you see any? Have you heard, or do you see any changes or obstacles that your industry is going to face here in the next 10, 20 years?
No.
It's going to be, really, it just comes down to...
Rebar's been around for since way back when.
There's nothing out there. There's no competing product.
Fiberglass rebar they like to think, and there's applications for fiberglass rebars.
Okay.
MRIs.
And is anyone in our valley doing that here?
No.
No one's doing that?
I just supplied some. Matter of fact, got some coming in this week for an MRI out at 10 Mile.
Okay. So you guys can still get it for your customer, though?
Yeah, we get
a product supply.
We supply it.
Because that's one part of your business. You guys do supply the products for your contractors, too.
Yeah.
Because you guys have a shop that's open to the public.
We got a store that's open to the public. The concrete additives, the concrete accessories, additives, and stuff like that. We sell that in our store. So we're sort of like a Fred Meyer's one-stop shopping.
Yeah.
That we can do that, and they can come in and get just anything they want. If they can't, we'll order it.
And you can order it, get it for them, get it shipped to your site.
We got working on a job right now where we got to do a lot of form savers and stuff where the application is that such, so they don't have to have a lot of bar and to tie the walls in together. We do a form saver, which is a threaded bar and a coupler. So that they don't the congestion in walls and stuff, and plus it saves on the forms, so they don't have to drill their forms with the bar can.
And then they can reuse them.
No,
they can't reuse them.
No, they're in there.
They're in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, great. I kind of like to end it with just you letting people know how to get a hold of you, how to get a hold of you guys. Like, what's the best way for someone watching this that wants to reach out?
Reach out. You can just give us a call at 208-888-5600.
Okay.
Ask for myself or anybody in reinforcing. We'll be glad to.
Okay, and we'll put that down here on the bottom for everybody to see. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Recycled Idaho. And as we continue the journey across this great state, we look forward to bringing you more stories of people and organizations putting in the work to do the right thing.